Good, thank you. And you?
Oh, there we go. It's been a while since last time. I mean, it's been December. This is the first workshop we have since that December workshop on the Impossible. That was what, 2 months ago? No, yeah, 2 months
Yeah,
ago.
more or less.
Yeah, we had a rest, all of us, including all of you. Caro, how are you? Okay, you had a shower, I think. You're muted, so yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Hi, I'm good.
How are you?
Fine.
Good to see you. Good to have you back with us again this year, Caro, Sole, Julie, Pro, and Abril. How are you, Abril?
Hi. I won't be able to turn on my camera. I am at my aunt's house, so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll miss seeing you, but at least we'll be able to listen to you. Thank you for being here too. Diego is having the meeting with the other group because actually you were a rather decent number so that we could have the possibility of having two groups this time. He's taking care of the HD group, which he usually does. But, lately it was a little bit difficult to get a decent group of HD people. Now he does. He does have one. So we have ours and he has his. So he will not be with us today, but you will be able to see what he did on our story, probably of our stories, eventually. It was a rather a bit of a surprise when we had this repercussion with the proposal of our two workshops, because as I was talking to Julie, I think this was not one of the most popular movies we have chosen for the workshops. Still, you decided to be a part of it. I'm really thankful for that, because this was my choice, by the way. Diego chose Barbie, which I love, obviously. But this was my choice. So it was like, if this was not going to work, if this didn't work, Diego was going to blame it on me. But now he can't, because, it turned out quite good. And you are here for the Little Shop of Horrors. I love that movie. I don't know if you have enjoyed it as much as I was hoping you did. How many of you watched it for the first time? I know Solid did. Yeah.
Yes,
Did you
me
like
too.
You too, Caro. Ro, have you already watched it before?
Yes, I already have watched it, but not till the end. I don't know why, because it was on the cable, and
Oh, yeah.
I watched it till the mid of the movie.
Oh.
So this time it was completed. So it was the first time I watched it complete.
I also
I
watched it
really
on...
like it.
Great. I also watched it on cable television for the first time. I think it was TNT, like a long time ago, in the late 90s or something. And I really liked that movie. Obviously, I was really young back then, and I thought it was really bizarre and funny, but it was, at the same time, it was cool. To be honest, I didn't enjoy the music that much then, but when I rewatched it for the workshop, I became obsessed with it. I really like what they did with the songs in general. How about you, Abril? Have you already watched it before?
No, I was planning to, because I'm a big fan of musicals, but I hadn't watched it before.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yes, a lot. I thought that it was really funny.
Right. How about you, Caro and Sole? Did you like it? You can say no. It's totally fine. You can be honest.
Well, I saw it that time last week twice. The first time I didn't like it because I'm not fan of musicals.
Me neither.
So I saw at night at bed, in the bed, and I fall asleep many times. So I think I didn't understand the plot because, and then, well, I started to see it again, and it was a surprise because I like it very much.
So it was not the movie's fault. It was that you were very tired. That was it.
No, but I think the second time I saw it with another a mood or with
With a different mood. Yeah, yeah.
yes, and I paid really attention on the lyrics of the song, and I found it very, very interesting. Yes, I like it very much.
I'm really glad you did. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. I know it's not that cool when you have to watch something because you have this goal of joining the workshop and then talking about it. And if you don't like the movie, it's all, uphill. It's much more difficult, well, boring, tedious. I know it. So I'm glad you liked it. Obviously, it's not a condition that you like the movie to actually be able to talk about it, but I think it's better if you do. How about you, Sole? Did you like it?
To be honest, no, I didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
Because I
Mhm.
don't like musical, and
Yeah.
I don't know, as you know, when I don't know the movie that
Mhm.
I'm going to watch for these workshops, I don't read anything about that. So I didn't know that it was a musical movie. So well, this firstly it was a little surprise,
Yeah.
I didn't
Bummer.
know about that. So, but then I didn't like because I consider that it is as you mentioned before, it's bizarre,
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so it's like what? Yeah, like boy, yes, the
Yes, I
feeling
get the feeling, obviously, yeah.
and the plant, well, that kind of feelings, but then with the pass of the time, I got used to listen to the songs, and I started to enjoy the songs, yes, because they tell the stories
Mhm.
and everything. And then happened to me something surprised, I think, at the end,
Mhm.
it was okay. It is. Do we have a second movie? And it's like I feel like to watch a second one. It
Yeah,
was weird, you know.
yeah, I get that.
So I had many
We went through
feelings.
different stages while watching the movie. That's good.
Yes,
You feel like
yes,
on a roller coaster, like wow, wow.
yes, yes, yeah. Like a roller. It's like at the end, at the beginning, it's like, oh, it's okay. Well, let's watch it. Well,
I'm
it's
sorry. I'm
musical.
sorry.
Oh, I got so bored. When it's musical because I don't like. I don't prefer. That's why, for example, the movie that it was so awarded, La La Land,
Mhm.
it's like I can't because I know that it's musical, but I
Okay,
am curious.
I'm going to cross La La Land from the list of this year. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
cross
You have
that.
to,
Um,
yes,
we we
in
we
the
did
next
have
movies.
some musicals last year, and actually, I think Julie was in one of those. And I also mentioned that I do not enjoy musicals, to be honest with you. But with this one, I didn't really pay attention to it being a musical because probably I like the movie very much. Bro, how about you? You wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say something regarding the first thing you said, and now it's connected with what Sole said,
Yeah.
that sometimes we don't know what movie to choose.
Mhm.
We have so many options, so many platforms,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it's really nice to get out of our comfort zones and have a movie to watch that's not maybe our favorite, but maybe we can enjoy it too. So it's really interesting to have something different to watch. For example, I never have chosen this movie, but I really enjoy it. So it was really nice.
Okay, I'm glad you did enjoy it. I'm sorry, Solid. I think I did tell you, you know, when we were talking that it was a musical, but I do not remember. Maybe I didn't. No, I didn't. Well, I'm really sorry. It was a bit of a surprise. I was hoping it to be a nice surprise, but it wasn't. Anyway, Julie did like it. I mean, she did mention she was a big fan of it or something like that. So I suppose you did like most of it. Have you ever watched the play on theater, Julie? You had?
Yes. I first saw the movie when I was really young. I rented it in the video store without knowing anything. Neither did my mom. But then as a teenager, I saw the play on YouTube, the musical. And recently, a group here in Buenos Aires did a play or an adaptation of the play.
Yeah.
So I saw it again recently.
Yeah, it was like a year and a half ago. I think it was on Astros or one of those big theaters in Corrientes, I think.
No, it was I saw a sort of under play.
Okay.
It's a foundation actually that it's called Your Shot, and they do many musicals throughout the year. And that one was in a theater in near the Congress, basically.
Ah, all right. So it was like a small or a smaller event.
Production, yes.
But there was like a really mainstream presentation, like a Broadway style of this play in 2022, actually. Yes, I did. On 2022, I don't know any of the actors because I checked. I actually got a little bit obsessed with the movie over the last weeks. Actually, that's why I chose it. And then I started, you know, reviewing a couple of things. Yes, just say hi and bye. Hi.
Hi.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you very much. And well, that one of the things I found out was about this play. I knew there was a play being played or staged in Buenos Aires a couple of years ago, but it was actually quite recent. I think it was Astral, one of those theaters. I don't know actually the name of. Let's start right away, actually, because it's almost 20 minutes and we're still talking. I suppose we're talking because we enjoy talking in general, and I'm actually really glad you do, because otherwise this would be really difficult. That Sola mentioned she didn't like some of the songs, or that actually it being a musical, it kind of makes me feel sorry to include the audio, because wait, actually you cannot listen to it yet because I haven't allowed it. I actually included some of the songs, not in all of the presentation, but in some of it, like this one. It's like I'm a really big fan of the soundtrack to this. I really like what they did. And when I watched it back then, I didn't have the opportunity to watch it with English subtitles, something that we could do nowadays. I don't know if you have, but when you do, you get the full lyrics, you know, below, and it really works because it's actually in English. And as Kata was saying, I think they're really clever. It's Little Shop. Yeah, she actually became familiar with the movie because of me working with it and preparing and whatsoever. And she knows this is Little Shop. That's what she calls it, Little Shop. Anyway, let's start with the first question. Oops, there we go. And it's related to our main guy, Seymour, played by, I'm really bad with names, but this actor, Julie, help me out. What's his name?
Rick Moranis.
Bro?
Rick Moranis.
Oh, yes, Mr. Moranis, Rick Moranis. He was like a big name and a big actor in the 80s. I mean, his face is so iconic. And he became like an 80s icon because then he decided to stop acting because of some family tragedy in the 90s. So he's really connected to the 80s. This is a bit of a piece of the lyrics in which, you know, he speaks about himself feeling sorry for himself. He's I think he's right to feel sorry for himself because his life is quite, you know, a bit sad. The first question was about Seymour. Is he a conventional protagonist? Does his journey conform or challenge hero archetypes? He has some moral decisions. Actually, if you want, perhaps we can leave moral decisions to the end because I actually included a question related to moral by the very end of the presentation. But is he our conventional protagonist? Guys, what do you think? Audrey, please feel free to interrupt because I do not see you, so I do not see if you want to say
Okay. No, I don't think that he's a conventional protagonist, mainly because he's not like a male conventional protagonist. He's more, I don't know how to say it, but in the 80s, men who were protagonists in films were like rough and brave and tough, and he's, yes, and strong, and well, he
White.
doesn't look like one. Yes, and he's more like, I don't know how to say it gently, because I remember one of the lyrics of one of the songs that is related to I don't know, of something of the Bible, like saying that he's a manso. It's
Oh,
at the end.
yes.
Yes, and I think that that lyric represents all his character, and that he's not conventional one.
You actually mentioned something that I totally should have included of this context of the 80s. Which is true. It was the time of Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, fighting on screen virtually to be to show who's the toughest, the biggest, the strongest, and whatever. And it was a big time for macho stars, you know, for especially male dominated films. Absolutely true. Yes, what else? Go on, girls. Julie.
I was gonna say he's not a conventional protagonist for the movies in the 80s, but he is very a conventional male and non-male protagonist, like in those two categories, like protagonists in general and male protagonists in the Broadway sphere in the 80s, which was sort of the decade of the underdogs musical. So every character, every main character in the 80s musical is sort of an underdog. So you have, for example, Cats and Phantom, and then, well, Little Shop of Horrors and some other traditional and really classic musicals that have this sort of underdog that has this hero journey in some sort of, well, either they go on and die in the end, or they become the hero before becoming the villain.
I didn't know that because actually I'm not that specialized on musical as you are, Julie. I actually have no idea what Cats is about, apart from it having cats or cat-looking people. But yes, actually you have a point. Despite of having these big names as we were mentioning before on screen and totally dominating Hollywood in general, there was also some space for the underdogs, as you mentioned before. This is a time of the Nerds film. I don't know the name, Revenge of the Nerds or something like that. And some other characters who are not that physically stereotypical of the male, or what a male should look like or should act like, but they actually became protagonists as well. It's a very good point. Ro.
I wanted to say that's a little bit sad that, well, he doesn't want to progress. He doesn't have a motor in life. He's okay with that job. I mean, he's not happy, but he's okay with that job. He does what he can, but he doesn't have a motor in life. And that's a little bit sad, I think. So that, I think he's not conventional in that aspect.
A bit depressing, you mean? And yes,
yeah,
you're right. Probably if he didn't have that female partner or workmate, maybe nothing would have changed in his life. Well, we don't know, because the plant showed up anyway, and it was not because of Audrey, Audrey the first, or the original Audrey, but because of some mystical or space thing, which the movie actually doesn't mention. They only mention the eclipse. But I think it's okay that it doesn't show you how the plan gets there, so that you can, create your own theory on that.
yes.
I think.
And
okay.
I don't want to move on too fast, but the plant helps him to move on, to do all the things that the plant wants, because he doesn't do anything for himself. He even liked the girl, Audrey, but he knows that she has a boyfriend, so I don't want to mess with that. It's everything. So he's not brave even to ask her out, or
it is one of those cases in which a person shows himself to be respectful, but perhaps, the other person was hoping him not to be that respectful. In this case of this toxic relationship they have. I mean, Audrey and her boyfriend, Orin. But yeah, it's like being respectful sounds like an excuse for Seema to, like, okay, I cannot do anything because she's in a relationship, and I have to look from the outside. I think it's one more excuse for him just to say nothing, to do nothing. Caro, Soli.
Well, I think as most of the characters of the movie, he seems to be a little hopeless. I think, as you said, and as Rocio said, he's very respectful of Audrey, Audrey's relationship with Mr. Orin, and I think he also doesn't seem that Audrey would be or would pay attention on him. He has a very low self-esteem.
Yes.
And he thinks he doesn't deserve her. But well, along the movie, we can see the development of the character, and at the very beginning, we can't imagine that he would be so determined to kill to kill Mr. Orin.
Yeah, to kill anyone, because he's one of those persons that you say he wouldn't hurt anyone,
even hurt anyone.
Yeah, nothing. He would just say sorry for talking to you. But he does
Sorry
go
for
to those.
leaving.
Yeah, I'm sorry for being alive, you know. But he goes to that length. He's propelled, he's driven by the plant, obviously. But, you know, it's not all the plant's fault. I mean, we're going to talk about the plant right away. But yeah, it's not like, oh, I didn't do anything. It was the plan. It was the plan. I mean, come on. It was your hand. And it was your idea, actually. Sole, how about you? What do you think? It's Simon, a
Well, I
nice
think
character. Yeah. Sorry.
sorry.
I was asking you if you believe he's a nice character.
Yes, I think that he's not conventional, but at the same time, it's a typical character that we think that is the typical character that challenges himself. You know what I mean? Like a hero, you know, like not a conventional hero, you know, like for example, well, someone who who is depressed or who has low expectations about his life improvements, I don't know, but at the same time he has a lot of wishes,
Yeah.
you know, but he is in the same place till the plant appears, for example. And I think it's not the plant itself. I think it's Audrey, the Audrey's proposal. It is something relevant for him. You know, maybe I am talking about. I am the next questions maybe, but maybe the other things encourages him to do some things, you know. Of course, it was all the decisions were made by him. He's an adult, you know. But yes, I think he's not conventional, but at the same time, he's the typical person or the typical character that is like, I don't know, for example, Spider-Man, you know, like a nerd, yeah, and then becomes a hero, you know.
Yeah, that's something that was actually more common in comics, in comic books, you know, in which you have losers, because that's what they were actually. But that was a whole different universe, you know, because those stories were written by by real nerds in life, like Stan Lee was one of them, one of those you know, isolated personalities who actually don't fit in anywhere. So it's quite natural, I believe, that, you know, Peter Parker was a nerd who actually becomes a superhero. But in movies, that was not so common until probably the 80s, as Julie was saying at the beginning. And Julie, again, yes.
I think it's really funny that Sole also thought of Spider-Man, because I was just thinking about these similarities between Little Shops and some of the Marvel characters. And the fact that we have these, it's very easy if you make a character be a sort of loser or underdog, it's very easy for us to empathize, more so and then if you make them a successful millionaire with a mansion, for example, Batman, continuing in comics. And I also thought that Seymour was, I don't know, I also thought about him, the connection with Spider-Man. So I think that's really funny that we actually thought the same thing.
You said it's easier to connect with someone like that, and I agree. And it's also easier for that character to, you know, to grow. I mean, there's so much more space for him to grow, to become more conventional in a way, than for someone a little bit more established in society like Bruce Wayne would be. Yes, he has his strategy to work on, and he tries to be a good man and blah, 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 a good hero. But I mean, he has like much less to work on than, in this case, Seema, because he's totally, yeah, he's at the bottom. He's at the bottom of the society pyramid, of the social pyramid. And Audrey too, or Tui, as he likes to call her, or to call it, actually helps him out. I don't come from no Black Lagoon, says in the middle of the song. I'm from past the stars and beyond the moon. Here we have a little bit of the song, sorry.
I'm just a mean green mother from outer space, and I'm bad.
You know, actually, there was controversy with that bit of the lyrics, because he says, I'm a green, mean mother. Some people believe the plant to be a female and to be the mother of those little plants that show up. But some others believed it to be a short form for motherfucker, you know? So because he's actually mean, he's bad. So, and actually you can say that, especially in the States, like, oh, you mother, instead of saying the whole word, that actually means something else. But in any case, what did Audrey 2 represent for the characters? By the way, the work they did, this is something that I did on my individual investigation, the work they did on the puppetry with Audrey, when it actually becomes a giant plant, it was like really, really crazy. There were like 50, 40 people working on the plant, on the little plant arms or tentacles or whatever. It was really crazy. They actually had to work at their normal speed, but they had to speed the dialogue down so that it would match the movements of the plant, because it was really difficult to make the plant do this, you know, to actually talk. So they had to slow down everything so that it would match. It's really funny, actually. If you look it up on YouTube, you will find it. So what does she represent for the characters in general, for not just for Seema, but for the rest of them? What does the plant represent for the story? And what do you know about the Faustian Pact? That's a little bit more intrinsic, well, not intrinsical, in-depth question. Who wants to start? Julie, I see your screen on. Yeah. It was my blink.
I don't know. I think Audrey 2 represents for Seaman, for Seymour and Mr. Munchkin, he represents sort of ambition and moving up in the societal chain. Sorry. Obviously, both of them are at different points in the societal hierarchy, but they both want to move up. One wants to be a big businessman, and Seymour just wants to be more of a normal guy, be a part of society. And also, in the song Skid Row, we learned that everyone on Skid Row kind of want to get out of there, get out of the downtown and go somewhere when they can have ambition. And for the story, I think, I don't know, that's my reflection.
Well, yeah, we're actually going to talk about Skid Row population in general, but I think Kara was talking about it before. Yeah, they're all sad, they're all depressed, they don't want to be there. And Audrey 2 shows up to kind of change things, to shake things up a little bit, especially for Seema. But as you said, Mr. Munchkin becomes really interested on what the plant can give him and his business. That's true. Ro was first. She put her hand up. Yeah.
Okay. I think that Audrey helps everyone to move on. Seymour is kind of static with low self-esteem, as someone said, and Audrey gives him a push. And that push that gives Seymour the confidence to make the shop to grow. It keeps all the pieces of the puzzle moving because the owner starts making money. Then, well, happened what happened to with Audrey's boyfriend helps Audrey to move on. So all the pieces are changing, all the pieces are moving. And that's interesting. That's because of Audrey too.
It becomes like the big drive of the movie, of the characters in the movie in general, because their stories are all kind of turn over because of Audrey's influence, Audrey 2's influence. Yes, that's really true. Got it. Yes, I don't want to carry on talking. Sorry, I'm going to shut my mouth.
Well, I think that especially for Seymour and for Mr. Mushnick, Audrey too represent as a rescuer.
Oh, a rescuer.
A rescuer. Well, for Mr. Mushnick is because he wants to keep the plant to make money, and I think for Seymour is not only for getting money, but also for being famous or recognized as a discoverer, descubridor, no.
A discoverer.
Discoverer of the of such a plant, such and it's the way, I think, being famous is the way to approach to Audrey or to be recognized by Audrey. Well, regarding Faustian Pact.
Wake up. I think it's about to conclude. Let's start the second meeting right away because I don't want you to be interrupted by Zoom. I prefer to interrupt myself. We'll be right back. The same link. Be right back.